right, so we're going fade at the blue flag?
Yep.
All right, let's do it. Yeah, it's perfect there, dude. Beautiful. I want to talk to you today about live view golf. Now, you guys hear me say all the time that you need feedback when you're practicing. You need to know if you're actually doing what you're trying to do, and the best way to give yourself feedback ultimately is video. And not only is video the best way to give yourself feedback, but being able to see yourself simultaneously as you're doing a movement is the best form of video feedback. It's the best way I've seen to make changes in your swing and be able to correlate the differences between your feels and your reels. Live view is super easy to use and set up. Simply set it up behind or in front of you. You connect it with your iPad or phone, pop that on the ground. You can actually do your practice, see yourself as you're doing it, the best way to expedite your process. I encourage you guys to check out Live View Golf. We'll put a link in the description down below with a coupon code. Okay guys, so we're back out here at Starfire Golf Club in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona. It's like 75 degrees and sunny. We have a couple guys over here to my right. Mr. Andy Patnow, thanks for having me out.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you. Mr. Chan Kim,
How's it going?
thanks for being here.
Yep, no problem.
And so as you guys saw in the title, right, my first Tour Pro. Now, not my first Tour Pro that we're working with, but within the YouTube video.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
YouTube video. So Andy and Chan have been working together. And what we're going to talk about a little bit in today's video, some of the things that you guys are working on, why we're working on it, and maybe a couple things that the people watching could take home to utilize in their own game if they have those same sort of things.
Yep.
So let's get started. All right, Andy, so tell me a little bit about how long you guys have been working together, where this guy's at with his game, what you guys are working on, those sort of things.
Geez, so Chan and I, we were actually just talking about this. We've been working together for about 5 years, right? And it's almost around this time 5 years ago.
Yeah, actually, yep.
He was struggling a little bit on the Japan tour. You know, did you keep your card that year? Or did you
I
have to
did
go
not,
back?
no.
So you had to go back to Q school, right? And Chan's been, a really good golfer his entire life. Arizona State, really good player. Had kind of really early success when he was originally playing, when he first got going, right? Didn't you win Asian Q school?
I did,
You were
yeah.
almost there, right?
That's not bad.
Canadian Tour Q school.
And
yeah.
then,
a lot.
long story short, things just didn't turn out. And this happens with golf with a lot of good players out there.
Yep.
And he was just kind of looking for a different opinion. And, we kind of hit it off. I met you through another one of my players.
Yep.
And then, it's been 5 years. And now he's on the Japan tour. He's top, consistently top 5 in money list there. I believe you're inside the top 100 of the world rankings now. He's played in 2 British Opens, 2 U.S. Opens, and
2 WGCs, 3 WGCs actually.
Right.
And one excellent YouTube video.
Right.
Yeah, and one excellent YouTube video.
Oh yeah, so again, fun fact about Chan, he actually has the fastest recorded ball speed, at least to my knowledge, though, ever in a British Open. And I think you said it was, what, 100?
194.
Yep.
Not bad.
So it's kind of a cool thing. That's the year you finished T11, right?
T11,
Yeah.
yep.
So it was a good British Open.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, so guys, obviously we don't often get players of this sort of caliber on the channel to be able to express some knowledge, and guys like Andy who coach players like this. So what we're going to do here in a minute is talk a little bit about what they're working on in their swing, why they're doing it, and how it can help you with your game. All right, guys, so let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit about what you guys are working on and why.
Yeah, so when we work at Chan's golf swing, first and foremost, it's literally about him trying to maintain being healthy. Right.
Yeah.
So every golfer has limitations in that, and unfortunately, Chan, you have a bad back, right?
I do, yeah.
And it's nothing in terms of what you can do. You've had a bulging disc since you're
I was 12. Yeah.
Wow.
So we have to work around that, which is kind of cool and unique because, again, a lot of people too at home have physical issues, right?
Definitely.
So especially when you see a golf coach and golf instructor, they have to understand what your body can and cannot do, and then make sure you're not hurting it. So pretty much what we try doing for him from a pelvis movement and upper body movement is to really take as much stress as we can off his lower lumbar, as much as you can, which a lot of people have bad backs at home too. So Chan, go ahead and walk into this.
Okay.
And basically what we really focus on him first is kind of even at setup, right?
Yeah.
So Chan, show him like it's week 9 playing in a row. Where does your setup tend to kind of get to, right?
Yeah, so normally at about that time I start to get bent over more as I get more tired, more rounded and slouched, and I kind of almost start to look
Yeah.
And I stand a little bit further as well because I am bending more down.
Yep.
And I start to kind of look almost like this.
Right, so he'll start pushing his hips really far behind his heels, and then all of a sudden that doesn't feel comfy, so he starts raising his neck, so he's putting some tension up here. And then right now, he can feel this in his back.
Yep.
He can
Yeah,
100%
absolutely.
feel it, right?
Absolutely.
So, you know, that's kind of step one, especially at home. A lot of things can be corrected just by better setup.
Yeah.
So when I work on his setup wise, I'm really trying to get pretty much to say like his belt loop here.
Yep.
His belt loop's trying to get right over the mid part of his ankle, right?
Belt loops over mid ankle. Got it.
Mid
Okay.
ankle, right? And he's going to try and make it feel like his chest and everything. Really isn't crazy over the toes. Again, for him being tall, he likes being wide and a little bit more knee flex, so it's going to feel like it's almost inside your toe lines.
Right.
It's a feel. It's probably not really happening, right?
So I want to pause there because you
Yep.
just threw two gold nuggets out of that I want to make sure I got. If I'm setting up incorrectly this way, but from this angle, in fact, let me just go in here for a second.
Yep.
From the down the line, one of the checkpoints would be belt loop
Yep.
in the middle.
Yeah, right. Kind of like if you drew a straight line up from his ankle, you're
Yep.
going to try and get that as much as you can
That's
right over
perfect.
that, right?
Perfect.
And then that's going to deviate stance with, right? So if you're a little shorter like me, I can stand a little bit more closer together. If you're a little taller like you guys, you get a little bit further apart so you can increase some flex as that goes forward.
So two beautiful checkpoint gold nuggets there, right? If someone's mirror or video at home,
Yep.
look checking at this, hey, how do I know if I'm setting up right,
Yep.
right? Belt loop over the middle part there, and then if I'm taller, the taller I get, maybe I go a little bit wider potentially, and then the shorter I go a little more narrow.
And
So that was
everyone is
beautiful.
different, right? That's just a basic, right?
Yeah, cool.
So from there too, right, what that's going to help him do, it's going to set up his backswing, which we want to do first. So let's go ahead and get a correct setup here as close as we can. Actually, should check this today, huh?
Yeah, sure.
Relatively, right? All right, so yeah, you can really see that here, especially with this pants being blue, sneaker being white, you can really see that. That's pretty much as balanced as you get.
Awesome.
You can get a smidge taller if you want today, and then you can round that neck out a little bit. But
And then Andy, when you guys are together, obviously you're looking at that, and then just kind of checking that if you get a video of them, stuff like that over time.
all day. That's
Yeah,
pretty
okay.
much the first thing we always look at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
And honestly, again, like this is what happens over time. Like if he's playing a lot, you're going to get tired and you're instantly going to go back to kind of, I call this lazy posture, right?
Yep.
So we don't want the back to be completely straight. He's still rounding his back, but it's from the top, not from actually kind of going this way.
Got it.
Right.
Cool.
Right? So it helped his back. So go ahead and set up there now again, Chan. And then what this is going to help set up is because now his pelvis is a lot more underneath himself.
Yep.
He can make a backswing where he can actually feel that left side, feel like it's going to get a little bit taller.
Yeah.
Boom, and it's already kind of sit there, right? Now, Chan, go to your bad setup real quick. All right, go where the butt's too far behind the heels, and try doing that exact same move and tell me how hard it is. It's restricted there, right?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
So then all that really is, from an anatomical setup, is that now his pelvis, it has a little bit too much what we call anterior tilt.
Yep.
And the more anterior tilt you have, you're actually putting a little bit more extension in that lower part as you start turning.
So,
Right.
so a really simple checkpoint. What I love about that too, and how it's so relatable.
Yep.
A really simple checkpoint for the setup position and reasons why you're doing it.
Yep.
Back it up. Let's pause for a second and let's talk about some of the things you did during the backswing to go along with
Oh
that.
yeah, really cool. Yeah, because that's a unique movement, and it's actually a good exercise people should do. It's almost like what DJ or Dustin Johnson does when he's walking.
Yeah, I love
You
it.
can kind of see it. Cool. Yeah, check it.
Beautiful. All right, so Andy, let's talk a little bit about what you guys did during the backswing to pair with those setup pieces.
Yep, perfect. So again, how the basic pelvis kind of works a tiny bit, right? Is that there's two forms of methods you can focus on, right? One, we can kind of keep our pressure on our lead side, and as you make a backswing, kind of have everything kind of collapse and let's just say get a little bit of hip slant, which is fine.
Yep.
Chan can't play golf that way, so we have to kind of fix it out a little bit differently, right? And what we try doing with him, getting his pelvis there, is that as opposed to him feel like his left side really lowers a lot on the backswing, he really feels like his right side
I love
expands,
that.
right? So when that right side gets higher, if you're going to see that on 3D, his left side would technically be lower, but he's not feeling like that left side's crazy heavy,
Got
right?
it.
So we call that kind of like unweighting that kind of that way. So,
Yeah.
So go ahead, Chan. Let's demonstrate that real quick. And so the drill that we like focusing on, especially for him, just to kind of loosen up a little bit, it's just a thing called the hip hiker, which
Okay.
I got. It's not mine. It's from Calvin Miyahara, great instructor from Hawaii.
Awesome.
Hope he's feeling better. Hope you're feeling better, Calvin, out there,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Long story short, what it helps him do, it kind of helps him get like a little bit of, I call salsa in his hips, right?
Yeah.
Where it looks like it's never stopping. It always looks like it's kind of gyrating and gliding,
You
right?
want to give us a little move there? We'll save that for later.
That's about as far as I go. Give me a couple whiskey diets quick, I'll
Yeah,
get salsa real fast, right? So anyways, go ahead and set up to that, Chan.
Okay.
And just demonstrate what a hip hiker will look like just at setup, right? So if you're just sitting there kind of just not even turning or anything, just
Yeah, so all you're trying to do is kind of feel right hip, left hip kind of move up and down.
Right, and he's doing that really independent of his knee flex too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So his knees are obviously changing a little bit of flex, but that's purely him kind of
From
changing
that.
his pelvis girdle, right?
Got it.
So again, and that's obviously based on limitations. People can do different things, but that's pretty much what he's feeling on the way back. As he's shifting pressure from the lead side to the right, he's just feeling like he's actually hiking that left side up.
Yep.
And as he's doing that, because he's expanding that right side, this is actually still taller and that's actually still lower.
Got it. Love
Right.
it. Love it. You want to do one for us?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You're actually not even going to hit a ball. It's just all rehearsed.
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
So when we normally work on this, I like to feel it first, just make sure I'm doing it properly, have him check on it. And I'll do that about 2 times just to make sure I can actually do it.
Right. So if you're looking at that from what it feels like to him, it doesn't look anything what it feels like.
Sure. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Because obviously if his left side lower, right side's higher.
Yep.
It's just a different way for him to move the pelvis.
And I think what you said is really important there, Andy, and it goes for everything, right? As much as I try and generalize things for the sake of simplicity, it's very individual. It's very much who's in front of you, what they're going to do. And so for him specifically, you guys found out that that doesn't work for him based on how he feels and what goes on and the ball flight pattern he wants to play. And I think probably best for someone to work with someone on that,
Yeah.
right? If that's something that they need. So let's say during the backswing, working on those pieces, does that translate at all into any downswing feels or things?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you got to remember too, from the top of backswing to impact, it's less than a blink of an eye. So
Got it.
I'm a big believer that, again, backswing isn't everything, but it definitely helps out, especially if we can move the kind of the engine, as we call it, kind of down here. So for when, go ahead and Chan, get to the top of your backswing where you feel that, you know, we kind of like using the analogy of kind of like almost going downhill in transition, right?
Yeah.
Where it kind of feels when it gets to the top, what we see in really good players, it doesn't actually start necessarily from the ground up. It actually starts from the lead knee, left hip, and left side here, where he'll sit there and actually then dig and go fall down here, and you can see how that gets out of the way, you know, just a little bit this way. So his pressure is transferring lead side, but he's not doing that. Go to the top again there, Chan. He's not doing that by actually keeping his chest that way and then trying to bump his left hip up.
Got it.
Right? So this is a little bit different. Again, this is kind of more in terms of making sure if you have too much hip slide or kind of that side, this is kind of to help that out a little bit. But for him, it helps his back out a ton.
Yeah.
Right? Because the moment I go to the top there, if he goes to the top for him, just we see in the past, and his legs start driving a ton towards target, you're going to start seeing how that's going to put a lot of kind of crunch there. And because he hits the ball far, his hips are now square and his shoulders are really closed.
Yep.
You can probably feel that right now, can't you? Right, so let's relax there for a second. We're just trying not to create so much crazy amount of torque, right?
Sure.
So as he's getting there going to the top, he's actually unwinding his chest at the same time he's doing that. So it's almost feeling like everything's going together.
Yeah.
Nothing's really kind of opposite of that.
Yeah.
So it allows him to kind of fall downhill, and for him, it just sets up his downswing where it just almost like you just go, right?
Yeah.
Almost so you can keep it as simple as just turn.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think for relative to the pieces that his tendencies were and the reasons why you want to change them, again, those feels make things neutral.
Yes.
Right? Those things make things neutral.
Right, and also too, because he favors a fade, this is kind of a fader's pattern.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, and you don't really see too many faders having a whole lot of slide, right?
Yeah.
So it's like even like Lee Trevino comes to mind. Like he even described his swing kind of like he swung in a barrel. Little shorter guy, kind of aimed a little bit left, kind of went up, and you'll see him. He'll sit there and go, woo.
Yep.
I mean, he doesn't. He has a little bit of slide, but it's a lot more rotational than it is that way.
Curve all the balls to the right, win some majors,
Right,
all
you know,
day.
exactly. So it's you have to kind of pick again. That's where like the first thing we talked about is like what ball flight do you want?
Yes.
Because again, you can definitely hit a draw, but his preferred shape is more of a fade. So if he knows that he can get his hips and chest and sternum open, that fade's pretty easy, isn't it?
Right.
Right.
I guess we're not going to get the salsa dancing part here, but if we could get you to hit one more, maybe
Sure
before
thing.
we're done here, just feeling those feels.
Sure thing.
If he hits a straight ball,
We'll
salsa
just-
dance.
Well, straight ball it is.
Now, Chan, let me ask you, as you're hitting right now, because
Yes.
obviously we're doing this for a video, but as you're hitting right now, if you were going to go be practicing and hitting, are all of those things conscious for you? Is one part of that conscious? Is it?
So, for me, when I'm practicing on something new as far as a drill, first things first, I don't care where the ball goes. That's the number one thing.
Can you say that one more time?
I don't really care if I top one, shank one. To me, that really doesn't matter because I'm working on something else. I'm not working on purely ball striking. So that doesn't bother me too much.
You're not even looking for making it feel natural, right? Right.
Right.
Nothing.
Yeah.
It's almost
So-
making it uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
I mean, uncomfortable is actually a good thing because then you're actually inputting something new. So feeling uncomfortable is absolutely fine when you're working on something new. So for me, I like to feel it twice, like I said earlier. So really make sure I can actually feel this hip, almost feel like it's coming up.
Yep.
Now I'll do it once more. And then when I'm actually swinging, I will actually try and feel that same feel and just hit one.
Awesome. And for me, and I'm selfishly going to ask a couple more questions because I'm interested and I want to learn.
Oh, yeah.
Are you now, will you do the backswing part and the downswing within the same swing? Do you separate those?
The fun thing is that where he's at now, you don't even really think about that.
No, yeah,
Okay.
as long as I can
Happen.
feel this come up, I think that it's a natural reaction to actually want to go and dig down.
Yeah. Which is beautiful. That's simple.
Yeah, which is great.
Okay,
Right.
cool.
Which
cool.
is like I said, because you don't have that much time to think about on the downswing to kind of make that micro move to actually make a ball do anything. So it needs to be pre-set up. That's where I think a lot of people have success when they have a little bit limited hip turn, just mobility. They can sit there and keep their pressure forward a little bit and then really kind of dive into there and not really have to turn, but they're already kind of set up to go down.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, again, if I have someone who can't move, I'm not going to make them do Chan too much of that just because they physically can't even do that.
Yep.
Right? And then pretty much for him, I'm not going to make a big long swing. I'm going to make that person set their pressure forward, make a minimal press shift, but almost just place it in there with a shorter swing and go enjoy and have some happy golf doing that.
And there's like 20 different take-homes I could do here from this, but a couple of little key kind of notes at the end there that I really like. The belt loop over kind of the middle part of the foot there and the heel, I think is a perfect checkpoint for that. The idea of when you're hitting balls, obviously the mobility being per person, the idea when you're hitting balls of focusing on the movement adjustment because that's what you're trying to do,
Right.
not hitting a shot.
Right.
I think your thought process of going through it as a world-class player of you like to feel it twice, you like to go do it. The backswing does in fact matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
In that it sets up some of the pieces during the downswing when you can simplify things
Right.
To the point where the downswing stuff can happen. That's perfect.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
And man, that's a big, this is a world-class athlete that we have in front of us
Yeah.
that's not afraid of feeling goofy.
Yes.
Right? I mean, we've done this at a major championship where the pro tracer things on him and it shows Louis Oosthuizen like striping driver and him
Yeah.
hitting like a weird crappy shot.
Yeah.
And we're just not caring, right? Because
Discipline.
again, you work on the driving range. This is a big thing for us. Like you work against your tendencies that you do on the golf
Right.
course, right? The driving range, you shouldn't even try being perfect out
No.
here. It's literally just working against your tendencies that you feel out there,
Working
and then
against your tendencies. That's a good little line. Yeah.
So it's just again, that's kind of what makes him such a good student of mine. Is not only does I think he, I know that he's never going to stress out about too much stuff,
yeah.
but he's not afraid to be uncomfortable.
Right.
Beautiful.
And so many golfers, even when like the ones that are trying to break 190, 80, the moment it feels uncomfortable, they usually scrape it.
Right.
Done deal.
Right, and that's actually that's the vicious cycle of never getting
Right
better.
back to
Right,
the beginning.
that's
Yeah.
it's cool.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so cool. Yeah.
Good guys. I
Yeah.
appreciate that, man.
Absolutely.
Good luck
Yeah.
out there, dude.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. All right, guys, if you guys like this video, go ahead and watch one of these two videos above. It's gonna be the same topic as this. You're gonna really love them. Also, if you like the video, do us a favor, click the like button down below, really helps us out. If you liked Andy in the video, which I know that you did, go ahead and touch base with him if you're in the area or wanna come out and get coaching from Andy. He's awesome. AndyPatnowGolf.com is where you can reach him. We'll put a link in the description down below. Thank you guys for watching.